And a lot of that spun out of another request that we got from a viewer. You remember the rebuttal video we did?
Yeah.
One of the someone commented, "Hey, why don't you make a video about what you don't like about Gen Con?" Which I made one for myself, which here in a minute, Jim, if there's anything you want to contribute to that, we will hear. Uh, but I made one of those, and I got to thinking, like, well, I guess I really should do this for some of the other things we cover that I tend to cover in a more rosy perspective. So, because we have no trouble trashing Disney right and
Yeah.
left. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely some things I could say about, but again, not everything I would say would be negative towards, towards Gen Con itself, but things they could think about.
right. I don't know
But
if I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if you watched the video, but a lot of it had to do with, from my perspective, a lot of the problems are actually with the city, not with Gen Con itself. Like Gen Con doesn't control how many hotels there are, and doesn't control the fact the roads are always under construction up there.
well, one thing I could definitely say is like with the vendor hall, it'd be great if they had some sort of better like flagging of where things are at. Like I know you can have the map and you can say, okay, well here's where things are at, but maybe actually have like it sectioned in ways where certain things, certain related items are grouped together, so that you're
Uh,
not, if you're looking at a certain maybe a certain type of board game, maybe well, a kid friendly games, have all the kid, which they do for the most part, have all the kid friendly games like in a certain area, which I think is good, but maybe even on the floor or something or signs or something that has kind of like mapping to say like maybe like even like road signs like saying if you're looking for a certain boost they're this way or that way, maybe just something just to make it a little bit easier to navigate. I don't know what that would be, um, but when we did the recording tour, we took the 2 hours to just rush through the hall.
yeah.
I mean, there's just so much stuff, so much easy ways to miss so much out there. Like unless you are, if you're doing the 4 full days, yeah, you can, navigate through. But like for people that are like 1 day kind of deal, just an easier way of navigating that, and more seating, places for people just to sit down.
Yeah, I didn't think about more seating. That was definitely something I didn't think about.
Because and they don't even have to be anything fancy. Just put benches along the wall, just something where people can sit down for a moment.
Yeah, maybe the one corridor that you go down to go to Lucas Oil Stadium. Maybe put seats on along both the walls because I think there's a handful here and there, but by and large there's none. You just have to sit on the floor.
Yeah,
Like seating through there I think that would definitely help.
but things like that. I mean, it's because that was my biggest problem is that after a while your feet would hurt, your back would be hurting. Imagine people that have children having a place for them to be able to sit down. And with that, if you ever are sitting in a seat and you see somebody with a child come up and need somewhere to sit, you should offer them your seat, because that's just the nice thing to do. But that's another conversation for another time. But speaking of,
Before we switch topics, any other negatives of Gen Con? So we just make this a whole thing here real quick.
um,
And again, not saying these are like make or break, but just anything that you think could be improved or
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Obviously, if you have to buy tickets or stand in any of the lines for tickets, like that can always be just time consuming. Maybe finding a way to expedite those processes. I don't know what that would be, but when you have lines wrapped around the hall to get to either a ticket thing or like the Lorcana, that was the
the
word.
Lorcana nightmare. Yeah,
The planning for that was
non-existent.
non-existent.
Yeah,
Because if it was, they would have been against one of the walls so that they could have lined people
yeah.
out of the way versus you having people having to cut through lines of people waiting for that.
Well, maybe have a second set. You can only do one will call because there's only one set of badges to pick up.
Yeah.
But maybe for the purchasing tickets and everything, maybe that one have a second set of those because I know in the gaming hall there's another thing you can go to there. That's mainly for generics, but you can go there. Maybe advertise that better, or
Yeah.
maybe put another one. Oh, there's the one. It's impossible to describe where it is, but there's another section where I know there's definitely room that they could put a few booths and.
Yeah, because I think traffic control is one that because there's a couple of times where you'll get into like almost a crush zone with people trying to move through and different things like that, which Like most conventions, like pulling like a little wagon around, like say if you have kids or whatever, you have kids in a wagon, or you have a lot of stuff that you're trying to carry. There's a few times that I think like that could be almost impossible to get through because
Yeah, I mentioned the wagons, how I'm not pro wagon, but I get why, but I also like I just wish there was something better you could do, like maybe put a flag on it or something, because like I talked about the strollers, like
yeah,
regular strollers, they're a problem because you can't see them because you're looking at head level
yeah,
to make sure you're not going to run into anybody, and then all of a sudden, no, you tripped over a kid. That's not good.
yeah, no,
Like that's bad. Uh, Bad for the kid primarily. You're an adult, you can handle it, uh, but then there's the opposite. Was I don't know if you saw these last year, but there's people that had like the wagons that are like this tall that you could probably fit like 5 kids into that you could use as a battering ram if you absolutely had to. And I was like, on the one hand, well, yeah, I can see them, but on the other hand, like, good lord, like, get that thing out of there. You're taking up way too much space in the hall.
yeah. Well, that's it. That's the thing is like if you have small children and you need to have a way of containing them, like I could imagine like if you have a kid that's a runner and you pretty much have to have like some sort of harness on them because well, even then though, like you have the harness, the kid goes this way, someone just walks through, gets caught between you and the harness,
Yeah.
and you've got a kid getting wrapped around your legs.
Well,
Then you're
I hate to say it, but maybe Brad's right in his approach.
no kids.
Yeah, that was his advice. Was like, please don't bring them. I
Well,
hate to dissuade people, but he might be right on that one.
and if it's unfortunate because it's not a. I mean, you still have people wearing costumes and stuff like that. There just may be certain parts where if you don't have to bring the kids in, don't. Like if you're taking them in the vendor hall, maybe just have an idea of what you want to go and look at. Go straight there. Maybe not bring the strollers and everything.
Yeah.
Um, I hate to say that because I mean I think kids would get entertainment out of that, but if they're just there to like see people in costumes, there's other conventions that are definitely smaller that you probably would rather go to for that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
if it's just costumes and you're in the area, I would just go to Indiana Comic Con. It's there's less people. There is less. You're not gonna have to worry about running into people as much. There's more space. There's actual kid activities set up too.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, don't get me wrong, there is at Gen Con as well, but like I said, that's where I said if you have an idea, like, oh, I'm going to go look at the kids related stuff, there's a specific place where that's at. You go into that entrance, go into that
well,
area.
I think a lot of that's over in Lucas Oil. That's where like the build the foam weapons and fight each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's more spread out too. So
And I think that's, have an idea of where to go in and stuff. Because I don't want to tell you not to bring your kids, but just understand that if you do, it can get to a point where even navigating it all is. And this is somebody that's brought, small kids at one time because back in before Rather Dashing Games became Catalyst Games, um, Grant Wilson of Ghost Hunters, yeah, used to be the artist for Rather Dashing Games. So unfortunately, I don't have any pictures with him. My ex-wife has pictures with him, but my son Grant also is pictured with Grant.
yeah,
And I told Grant, I said, I liked the name. I didn't name him after you, so don't worry about that. I'm not weird like that. I didn't name him after you, just happened to like the name. So,
yeah.
um,
So maybe I doubt they'd go for it, but maybe do something like have the vendors hall open for a late 1 hour longer, but only people with like strollers and stuff have it at the end of the day because
yeah,
I don't want to encourage people like, oh, bring your kids so you can get in first. Like
yeah,
no one's going to agree to that. But maybe at the end of the day, instead of it closing at 6, maybe close at 7, and that'd be the stroller hour, or advise everyone that now it's going to be okay to bring the strollers in. So enter at your own peril if you're not with a
yeah,
stroller.
yeah. No, I think some of that stuff would also be alleviated if people just had some common courtesy when people are walking around. I mean, I get people want to get from one place to the other place,
Oh,
but
I definitely in the other video had the don't be a jerk.
well, and this brings up a thing that comes with traveling a lot, where people talk about zipper merging, and
Zipper merging.
yes, that's where when
You got 2 lanes and like one kind of.
where two lanes go down to one lane for like a construction zone. A lot of times people get backed up, and there's a thing where some people say, well, you should just go ahead and get in line for the one lane so that you're not merging in at the last minute. While other people say you should go in and zipper merge, where you do have the two lanes up to the last minute. And then if people are doing it properly,
Yeah, I think if people did it properly, I could see the argument for the zipper merge. It's just that I think, at least around here, it seems to be that most people assume we should just get in line, and the people we see doing the other like go flying by, so we
yeah,
know they're just being a jackass trying to get in front of the line.
yeah,
And then we're like, screw that guy. If he's up there when I get there, he's not getting in front of me.
yeah. Oh yeah, I can tell you there was at least a time where like I have the mild road rage. Like I'll bumper to bumper somebody so somebody can't merge into front of me. Yes, I know.
Mild road rage.
Well, I don't like flip people off. My big thing is that if somebody does something stupid, is I'll pull up to them at a light and just stare at them. Won't say anything, won't do anything, just look at them, and then they'll look at me, and then they'll look away, then look back, and I'll still be staring at them.
Well, I've told my niece who's doing driver's training right now, or at least she has a permit, and she's doing. Uh, I've told her before that you will not know true anger until you get behind the wheel of a car and have to deal with other people and their stupidity.
Yeah.
But remember, if you screw up, it's just a mistake. If they do it, they're an idiot.
Yep. I mean, there's some truth in that, but
yeah, no, there is, because I've definitely done things before, and I'm like, oh man, now I'm that guy. You know, I'd like to believe the fact that I self reflect on that is important, but yeah,
so
yeah. As far as the whole "don't be a jerk" thing, I mentioned because like I think it was last year, someone literally tried to like shove their way through where I was, and it was some guy that was like coming up to here on me, and I'm just like, this isn't happening. I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, trying to use superior height and bulk advantage, and just like stepped right in front of him. And I literally was like, what the hell are you doing? It's like, we're all going there. Just, dude, it's me or this old lady next to me. Who are you going to shove out of the way? Good luck. Because if you shove her, it's not going to end well for you. You know?
well, that's like I had the opposite thing happen when I was at a concert, and there was a I was at Noblesville or whatever I don't even know what venue it is now, but it got to it. There's like out by the lawn. There's a crush point where there's like it, and people were just pushing everybody, and then somebody just pushes me into the largest man I have ever seen, like muscle wise. And the guy looks at me and goes, "You got a problem?" And I'm like, "Do you think I purposely threw myself into you?" He's like, "Oh yeah, good point." I'm surprised he didn't smack me for popping off at him, but I'm like, "Do you think I would actually do that?" I mean, I'm not a huge, I'm not a small guy, but this guy was like, had about 5 inches on me and nothing but muscle. And
Oh, it sounds like the guy I saw at Comic Con one year. There were two guys cosplaying as Bane. There was the guy that was like budget Bane, and there was the guy that was like almost comic accurate Bane. Just like the roid machine. And I was just like, yeah, I wouldn't want to screw with that guy.
Hopefully he wasn't around going, boom.
No. But yeah, I don't know, that's probably about it for channel news, I think. Thank you for watching. This has been a Geek Cabal video, Echoes of a Whisper. This has been a clip from one of our podcasts. The link to the actual podcast this is from is in the description of the video if you want to see the entire thing, which we obviously encourage you to do. But otherwise, if you enjoyed what you saw, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Subscriptions and all the rest is definitely appreciated. Comments, as always. But just in general, thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. And check out the other videos we have here on the channel. See you later.